Hey, I'm Hunt, and this is Hunt on LSU, your channel for LSU Fighting Tiger football talk. Enjoy the video. We want you to leave a comment below, hit that like button, and subscribe right below the video. Enjoy. A couple of guys have decided they are leaving LSU for different reasons. Mekhi Wingo, a junior defensive tackle. He played one at Missouri, two at LSU. Junior defensive tackle has declared for the NFL draft, and Lance Hurd, who did not travel with the team for the ReliaQuest Bowl, has announced that he will enter the transfer portal. I'll take these separately because both are hits to the LSU football program, certainly. Mekhi Wingo put together a really good freshman season at Missouri. He was a freshman all-conference player and looked elsewhere for bigger and better things than Missouri and came to Baton Rouge. And last year, he was exceptional. Played a phenomenal season of football for LSU and got some All-American recognition for it. He came back this year and in the middle of the season got hurt, tried to play through it, wasn't very productive. LSU's defense was very poor, and he decided, hey, I'm going to step away, get this surgery, and I'll be back for postseason play, whatever that may be. And you hear that and you go, well, they're probably not going to be in the playoffs because they've already got 2 losses. I doubt you're coming back for a bowl game. Well, he rehabbed from that surgery, put in a month of practice, and went out there and played in the ReliaQuest Bowl and played well at times. LSU's defense was not very good, but Mekhi Wingo was active. He had 2 sacks in the game, including a huge one on the final drive of the game. And I thought had the quote of the offseason saying, hey, they elected me a team captain. I'm wearing this number 18. I owe it to go out there with those boys and play one more time. And for Mekhi Wingo, there is a sizable amount of quality tape at the college level. There's good tape when he was an 18-year-old freshman. There's good tape in the Southeastern Conference at Missouri and at LSU, certainly as a sophomore. Then you can explain away a very unproductive year by his standards this year by saying, hey, I was hurt. And Mekhi Wingo's never going to be 6'6", 335. He's an undersized interior defensive lineman that's got a high motor and some quickness, and he's either going to sink or swim at the next level. He's never going to be a first-round pick, and he's probably going to be, a middle-round pick, 3rd, 4th, 5th round. Then you got to go to camp, lace your shoes up, and see what you can do. Now, there is financial opportunity in the college game now, and that's something that he could weigh, but he wants to go start his professional career, and I understand that. So for LSU on the defensive front, now all eyes turn to Mason Smith and what his decision may be. If you lose Mason Smith and you start to look at defensive tackle, the numbers and the proven depth are tough to look at. It's Jacobian Guillory, it's Jordan Jefferson, and then you start to look at the really young players. It's a tenuous spot there for LSU. You go to the junior college ranks and you get Sean Washington and hope that that's a plug-and-play situation, but defensive line on the interior is a huge question mark for LSU. I could make the argument that if Mekhi Wingo were to come back next year, he's LSU's 2nd best defensive player. That's a big deal on a team that's trying to retool its entire defense. So this one hurts. I think I kind of saw it coming, but it hurts. The other departure today, a likely departure, is Lance Hurd, who has announced that he will enter the transfer portal. And, Lance Hurd is an immensely talented and gifted young offensive lineman. There's a reason he was a 5-star prospect, a top 10 player in the country. There's a reason he started a football game as a true freshman on the offensive line. There's a reason they had him out there at right tackle a lot in September. And then the dust settled, and Miles Frazier played better, and they liked Emory Jones at tackle, so Lance Hurd became the 6th guy. He played on the field goal teams and, was a reserve. And there's a chance that LSU returns 4 of 5 offensive linemen next year, and certainly both tackles. And the path straight to the field is tough for Lance Hurd. He could do it. He could win a spot. But it's tough. And I don't know Lance Hurd, but I know what he said. And when he signed to play football at LSU last year, he said, I'm going to be the left tackle. He said, well, they got a freshman left tackle, Will Campbell, teammate in high school of Lance Hurd. And he said, I know, I'm going to be the left tackle. And that's a guy who's obviously got supreme confidence and an expectation that he wants to play. And he might not next year if guys stay healthy and everybody comes back. Now, he might, but he might not. And here's the reality of the situation with Lance Hurd. We are in an era of college football where the second you put your name in that transfer portal, dollar signs start happening. Not for everybody, but for someone like Lance Hurd, they do. There is a market for Lance Hurd. It is undeniable. You may love it that college athletes are in that situation. You may hate it that college athletes are in that situation. It doesn't change the fact they're in it. What was I talking about a ton in early December? I've got first-year head coach in Jeff Levy at Mississippi State going to the podium on signing day in a Mississippi State collective shirt. I've got Marcus Freeman going to the podium on signing day for Notre Dame thanking the collective. You think the Grove Collective up there in Oxford is sitting on its hands? No, they're doling out cash left and right. It's not technically supposed to be for recruiting inducement, but they've basically allowed that. So Lance Hurd, I'm certain, well, shouldn't say that. That's hyperbole. I'm confident Lance Hurd has already been contacted by multiple teams that have put him in contact with the people who handle the NIL funds. Now, that opportunity exists at LSU, too. And that wouldn't even be a recruiting inducement. He's already here. But if you just stay at LSU and do it, you've got one bidder. You go into the transfer portal, fair game. And again, I don't know Lance Hurd. I don't know what motivates him. I don't know if it's that he's not going to be the left tackle at LSU next year and wants to go do that somewhere, or if he wants to create a market for himself. No idea. Never talked to the man one time in my life. But I know how the system works. And that's how it works. As far as Lance Hurd's hit to LSU, not as significant to me as Mekhi Wingo, because LSU's offensive line is now in a situation where the talent is excellent and the depth is fantastic. You return potentially 4 starting offensive linemen from a Joe Moore finalist. They love what DJ Chester could bring at the center position. You've got some high-level recruits from the last 2 classes that are coming in and won't be expected to immediately go to the field like Will Campbell did, like Emory Jones did, like Lance Hurd did in September. So while, yes, you would absolutely prefer to keep Lance Hurd around, no question about it. He becomes your third tackle and potentially the heir apparent to left tackle when Will Campbell inevitably leaves this time next year. You want that guy in your program. It was a huge recruiting win for LSU. They brought him in and gave him every opportunity to play, and they decided that wasn't the direction they wanted to go. So this is a loss, but there are 11 other guys in that room that were highly thought of, highly recruited, have a great position coach, and a lot of them have already played. So both losses here are significant in my estimation. LSU's defense has to undergo a massive makeover over the next 8 months. And Mekhi Wingo would have been a really nice piece to start with. You don't have him. As far as Lance Hurd goes, it's a big loss, both literally and figuratively. But the offensive line is in a position to withstand that. You're doing a good enough job recruiting high school players, getting them in your program, developing them, and retaining them that, it stinks, but it is what it is. I don't fault either guy for their decision. I think Mekhi Wingo is saying, hey, let's go. Not a situation where there's a ton on my game that I can work on that the NFL is going to care about. And if I'm Lance Hurd, cash register starts popping, and I got a chance to play left tackle somewhere because he's good enough to do it. And I don't think Lance Hurd is headed to an FCS school or another in-state school here. Now he's going to go probably find another home with a big boy school, probably in the SEC if I had to guess. So that's a big bummer for LSU that you'll probably have to play against that guy. But can't say you're shocked by it when you realize that the big fella didn't get on the airplane to go to Tampa on the 26th. So the news of the day today, Lance Hurd, Mekhi Wingo, both headed out of LSU, very likely Mekhi Wingo to the draft. Lance Hurd currently in the transfer portal. Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.